Hello everyone, my name is Chloe and today I'm here with a brand new video. Today I'm here to talk about June and everything that I read in it, which was nearly 20 items. A couple things happened in June. One, Read-A-Rama happened right at the beginning. Read-A-Rama is a readathon that I created and co-host a couple times a year, and our first round of 2021 happened. Another thing is that I have become hooked on a graphic novel series and read a bunch of graphic novels this month. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Actually, one more thing that happened is I did a lot of rereads this month as well. So, now let's get started. So normally I talk about everything in the order that I read them and I don't stray from that order, but we're going to try and do things a little differently and we'll see how my OCD handles it. First I read The Program by Suzanne Young this month, and then a couple weeks later into the month I read The Treatment by Suzanne Young. Both of these are rereads. A bunch of trigger warnings. If you guys are familiar with the Program duology, and you know this came out in a time where trigger warnings weren't as much of a thing. This is the first two books in a 6-book series. I know I said duology earlier. It's complicated. Trigger warnings for suicide, a bunch of death, depression, anxiety. The program is set in a world where suicide is an epidemic, and if you show signs of depression, then you go into what is called the program, where they erase your memories and essentially try to get rid of the depression. And they make you a different person. I read this in 2014, and wow, completely forgot about a lot of things. But the reason I'm rereading these two is because I want to finish the series. I never finished it. So I needed a refresher. Back when I originally read these, I rated both of these 5 stars, and upon reflection and rereading, they're both 4 stars. I actually wrote a review when I originally read the second book, and I said that this was 5 stars and I liked it more than the first one. I don't know what I was thinking then, because they're both pretty even playing field for me. And then right after I finished The Treatment, I also read The Recovery by Suzanne Young. This is a little novella following one of the characters, and it's set, I believe, 6 months after the end of The Treatment. This one was also 4 stars. Another reread that I did this month was Beach Read by Emily Henry. This was one of my favorite books of 2020, one of my favorite books of all time, and I just really felt like rereading it. So I did a combination of physically reading and the audiobook, and this is still a beautiful 5-star book for me. Alright, so Read-A-Rama happened, and the first thing I read for Read-A-Rama is Actor Age Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is the third and final book in the Brown Sisters trilogy. This one is following Eve Brown. All of the Brown Sisters books have really good rep. For starters, all of our main characters are black, and there's also autism rep in this book, so there is disability representation. I believe in this one and the first one. I can't remember about the second one. I thought this was done really well. It's not my favorite in the series, but I still really enjoyed it, and I believe I gave it 4 stars. Next, I read Will Grayson, Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. This was a hard one to get through. Trigger warnings for casual mention of suicide. This did not go in the way I expected it to. It was just fine. This is about 2 teens, both named Will Grayson, who kind of run into each other and then their lives are mashed together, kind of. I liked one Will Grayson over the other. I think the one that I liked is the one John Green wrote, but honestly I'm not sure. Either way, it was okay. I gave it 3 stars. Then I read Catwoman Soul Stealer by Sarah J. Maas. This was an audiobook that I completed. The next one in the DC Icon series. I still haven't finished that series. This one was good. I was entertained. It does have a couple of mentions of Batman, but not too many. It mostly follows Selena Kyle and also Luke Fox, who is Nightwing. I'm not sure if that is that's following any of the comics, because I don't follow comics. I just like the movies and shit. But yeah, this one was a 3.5 star. Not quite a 4, but it also just wasn't middle of the road, so I think I settled for a 3.5. The last book that I read for Read-A-Rama was Sunkissed by Casey West. This is her new release. This book, like many other Casey West books, is very fast-paced. This also made me want something that is very niche, and I want YA romances set at summer camps, because that's what this is. So if you guys have any of those recommendations, leave some in the comments below. I know it's super niche, super specific. This was a 5-star book. It was very fast paced. I really enjoyed it, and it's kind of also, there's also a little bit of coming of age a little bit in it, but it's Casey West, so it's fluffy YA romance, and I really enjoyed it. Next, I read one of my favorite books of all time, besides Beach Read, and that is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I did a reread because I haven't read this since the first time I read it in 2019, and funny enough, this is actually going to be a traveling book that I am doing with myself as well as the rest of the BookTube chicks, which is Desiree from Liberty Libra and Kathleen from For the Love of Books. So I have a bunch of things, you can't even see any of them. I have stuff written in here, and I'm going to do a whole little separate video talking about this, so when that's ready I will link it in the description below. You know, this book is my heart. 5 stars. Also, I found out there is an epilogue, because when I was reading this and I had finished it, I was like, oh my god, this book could really do with an epilogue. There is an epilogue. It's in the back of 99% Mine, and it's also in the back of this mass market paperback, which I bought and I've had for months, and I didn't know that it was in the back of here. And I also didn't know it was in the back of 99% Mine, which I've also had for months. So I got an epilogue, and I was so happy with it. I don't know how I've gone this long without knowing there's an epilogue. Next, I read my book club pick for the month of for the month of June, and that is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. I'm not going to talk too much about this because we did do a live show, which is going to be linked in the description below, where we all talked about the majority of our thoughts. This was fine. Honestly, if it wasn't a book of the month pick, I probably wouldn't pick this up. I feel like it was marketed wrong, because everybody was saying, oh my god, this is a great romance, like it was marketed as a romance. I don't think it should be marketed as a romance. It's fine. This book has an audience. I fully believe it has an audience. There's a bunch of, you know, great reviews of this book. I just don't think it was like, I'm not that audience. It was just, for me, it was just okay. It wasn't my favorite book. I didn't hate it. It's just very middle of the road for me. So I gave it 3 stars, but if you want to know more of my thoughts and my in-depth thoughts, check out the live show. It's going to be linked in the description below. As part of my trying to discover YA romances set at summer camp, I actually found a middle grade graphic novel series set at a summer camp. It's not romance. I mean, it has a little bit of romance, but it's more fantastical and mysteries. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. I have started reading Lumberjanes, which is by a bunch of people. I'm only going to show the first volume here, but at the time of filming this, I have read volumes 1 through 8, and there's a total of 19 volumes, so we're halfway there. I'm probably going to have a couple more read before the end of the month, because, you know me, this is filmed a few days before the end of the month, and I'm intrigued. So I'm continuing on with the series. I haven't rated any of them because I find it really hard to rate graphic novels and poetry and nonfiction and stuff like that, so I haven't rated any of them. I'm just here along for the ride, 8 volumes in, and we're gonna keep going, and honestly I will probably have it done by the end of the week. The last thing I want to talk about really quick was kind of a random pick. I didn't even know this thing existed, and that is The Hill We Climb, an inaugural poem for the country by Amanda Gorman. If you don't know, Amanda Gorman is the poet that was at the 2021 inauguration of Joe Biden, and I didn't even know that this was a published work until I happened to be at work. If you don't know, I work at a library, and I was walking past all of the items that were going out to different libraries, and I saw this book, and I picked it up really quick to look at it because I didn't know it was a thing, and it was only like 30 pages. It's the same poem that she did at the inauguration, and I just quickly read it. It has a foreword by Oprah, and it's just a quick little 30-page poem, and I read that and enjoyed it, and I said, well, I read it, let me count it for my reading, even though I didn't know this was a thing, and I read it in a couple minutes, and yeah, that's basically all I have to say about it. So I read so much stuff this month. I don't know where that came from. I mean, I know where it came from. It came from the graphic novels. But yeah, I read a bunch of stuff, and let me talk about the 2 things that I'm currently reading and hoping to finish before the end of the month. So the first thing that I've been working on for kind of a while now is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. I have less than 100 pages left in it, so I'm hoping to get it done. Check out the description to see if I leave my rating in the description below, because then you'll know if I finished it or not. But I have less than 100 pages left, so I'm definitely thinking I can get it done after I film this. And the other thing that I'm reading, which is my audiobook, is The Remedy by Suzanne Young. This is set in the world of the program, but it's set before the program exists. So it's kind of like a prequel, even though it just says it's book 3. I don't know. So this is set in a world before the program. It is also a duology. So there is a second book following this character as well, and I think it's going to lead up to the program, and we'll see what happens. That is everything that I read in the month of June. I read so many things. Wow. Definitely my best reading month so far, and I know the graphic novels helped that, but I've just been like eating them up. I have so many graphic novels that I've been reading so fast. That is all I have for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you like what you see here, please go ahead and click subscribe. I post new videos every week, so click subscribe so you can be updated when I post those. Thank you all so much. Check out my Patreon linked in the description below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye! In the darkness, I don't feel so cold. The ashes fall like rain, and somehow